everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you an Easter recipe. This is absolutely delicious. I've made it a couple of times. It's basically a Hasselback squash, which is where you slice it all the way down, and when it roasts it just goes absolutely delicious, like crispy on the outside, nice and soft on the inside. And we're also going to be making a stuffing to go inside. This is a leek and apple stuffing. It's amazing, all of it together just tastes so good, and like I said, perfect for Easter. First of all, we are going to start with the bread because we are going to put some crispy sourdough bread into the stuffing. So you want to preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius. This sourdough is a couple of days old, which is perfect because we don't want it to be like totally stale, but just having a couple of days to it is perfect. And we're going to use about a quarter of a loaf, which is roughly 150 grams. And then we're going to slice the bread into cubes. It just has to be very rough. We're going to toast it in the oven for about 15 minutes once you have those cubes. So straight onto the roasting dish. We don't need any oil, nothing. We're just going to dry roast that until it goes nice and golden. We're also now going to chop up the leeks and celery and apple. This is again for the stuffing. It's amazing having apple in there. It's just the best flavour. So we're just going to slice these up. So we're just going to fry that off. A little bit of olive oil into the pan. And then we can add those leeks, celery and apple once that gets nice and hot. And we're now going to crush half a cup of walnuts. I like to use a pestle and mortar to crush these up. So now the bread is nicely toasted, we're going to put that straight into the pan, and we're also going to turn the oven up to 200 degrees Celsius. The vegetables are nice and soft and it is smelling amazing. I'm now going to add 1 cup of vegetable stock. That just goes straight in the pan. And then also the crushed walnuts. And I'm just going to leave that to simmer for a few minutes. The bread is going to soak up all of that delicious flavour from the vegetables and the stock. And if it gets a bit dry, just top it up with a bit more water. And in the meantime, we're going to start with the squash. So I've got half a squash here. You can obviously use a whole one and just halve it and remove the seeds from the inside and the pulp. Just going to peel it. The reason I've only got half is because I used the other half last night. Just going to add a small amount of olive oil just to the top and the bottom. You don't want too much here, just a little bit. And then we're going to roast that for 15 minutes. Just going to roughly chop the fresh sage. This is absolutely amazing in stuffing. It just goes so well with those leeks and apples. There we go. So it's about 2 tablespoons worth of sage. That can go straight in the pan. I'm going to add a little more salt and pepper as well. And now we're just going to blend up that stuffing. I added some water halfway through just because it gets a bit dry and the bread does soak up all of the moisture. So now it's looking absolutely perfect, smelling so good, and that's just going to go straight in the blender. Okay, so we're going to whiz this up. We don't want it to be totally smooth, we want it nice and chunky still, so literally just whiz it for a few seconds. There we go, that's literally all it needs. Now I'm going to make the oil that's going to go onto the squash. We have 3 garlic cloves. I'm just going to crush them and add them straight into the oil. And I'm also just going to pick off the leaves from the fresh rosemary. We have 2 sprigs here. So the squash has been roasting for 15 minutes and this just softens it because what we're going to do now is Hasselback the squash. This is where you slice, not all the way down to the bottom, up to leave about that much, all the way along, and it's just so good at infusing the flavours, and because it's softer it just makes it so much easier to do it when it's been roasting for 15 minutes. So I'm just going to slice down, not all the way to the bottom because we want the whole squash to stay intact, and just do that across the whole length of the squash. Oh, and a tip, you can use a tea towel to hold on to that because it can get quite warm on your fingers. So we're going to roast this now for 30 minutes. If the bottom is looking like it's burning a little bit, you can always put some water in the tray halfway through baking and that will just stop it from burning at the bottom. So yeah, 30 minutes. So this is done. It is smelling so good. I wish you could just be here and smell this right now. It's amazing. I think this is so great to have as a centerpiece in the table, and you can all just help yourself. It's ready sliced, so it's nice and convenient, and the stuffing is right in the middle there, so when you slice it you just get that scoop of stuffing as well. And you can obviously have this with loads of different sides. I have this with some broccoli on the side, some green beans or kale, something nice and green, and then you can also have a protein. So if you wanted some tempeh, I had that last night. So yeah, it's a very diverse meal and acts as a great roast dinner. Also, as you can see behind me, we have a lot of stuffing left over. So this can go into the other half of the squash as well, but also just having that in the middle of the table and everyone can just serve themselves is amazing. So I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please do make this, let me know what you think, and hopefully you can make this over Easter as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye!